Good evening to my classmates and to my teacher, Professor Dr. Breland. My name is Charlene Jackson, and I'm going to talk about the ethical considerations in family and couples therapy. As you know, is a lot of considerations when you have to counsel families. And the forum asks for 3 major ethical problems. The first ethical problem with anything you counsel is confidentiality. When you are counseling families or couples, and sometimes you might want to counsel one of the partners or the other partner, they tell you secrets if you don't state your confidentiality policy ahead of time. There shouldn't be any secrets. As the book says, as our textbook says, it should not be any secrets because that'll cause harm and unwanted problems. Also, another consideration would be values. And most of us, if not all of us in our school, are Christians, and we have belief systems in place, values in place that line up to the Word of God, the Bible. As they say, basic instructions before leaving Earth. So sometimes we're going to counsel people that we know that in our Bible go against what we stand for. And we have to not put our values on the clients. We have to make sure that our clients are not harmed by us imposing our values on them. We have to make sure that we don't, like I said, harm our clients in terms of, like I said, our values. Like, I'm Christian. There's certain things that we know, and I know, that we should not do according to the Word of God, and that we get a client that is all the way against that. What do? We can't tell a client that we're not going to help them. And if we do feel that way, we should get advice and we should get help from a colleague, or if we're in supervision, our supervisors or our managers or our bosses. But just know that just because there are bosses or supervisors or anything, you have to make sure that they're also ethical in what they're saying to you so you don't get off track. Because sometimes the supervisors and the people are the authority that's ahead of us is not following the rules and guidelines of what being a counselor is. And they might put you off track in terms of how you should counsel clients because they're not counseling them correctly. So you have to be aware and careful that the people that supervising you do not need to be supervised themselves. We also got to be careful of gender roles. There's a lot of talk of gender roles, transgender, gay community. We have to be careful that, again, this is where our values come into play. And then other gender roles. Some men want traditional housewives, but the housewives want to be housewives, but they also want to work in the community. They want to work in the workforce. And the husband want a traditional housewife, one who stays home, take care of the children, takes care of the house. While there is nothing wrong with that, we have to be careful that our beliefs against or for that doesn't influence the client in any way. Our job as counselors is to influence the client to make decisions that's going to benefit them, but not without our input. We have to have the client make their own decisions based on their own belief systems, on their own values, on their own thoughts, on their own beliefs. We're here as counselors to help them go through these ethical considerations correctly and make sure that we are operating correctly. And according to the American Association of Family Therapists, we have Principle 2.2, written authorization to release client info. We also got Principle 2.1, disclosing limits of confidentiality, and many others. So every profession has a code of ethics or standards or rules to go by. And we, as counselors, must go by the code of ethics that we are assigned to, or what we want to specialize in when we become full-time practicing counselors. I thank you for listening. I hope this was informative. I hope this was interesting to you. And God bless, and heaven smile upon you. And remember Philippians 4:13. We can do all things through Christ, which strengthens us. Have a blessed night. Despite an overwhelming number of people who say they enjoy eating bread best,